Okay, welcome to the second part of the self-overview video. I have made a bank account object with 3 slots so far. I'm going to add one more slot so you can see how I did it. So we have a balance slot, and the balance is a variable that lives in the object, and it's set equal to 0. And then we made a deposit slot. So this is a function which we would call a method, and it says add an amount. And it happens that the formula is short enough that you can see it in the slot. Usually they're a little longer and it won't show it. You have to open it up to see it. And you go to edit it and see it. And there it is. Deposit amount equals balance, balance plus amount. I'll get into all the syntax of the language in the next video. And then we have an interest rate, which I set at 0.05. I left one more to add, just so you can see how I do it. I right click and I go add slot. Here's a big field. The green part is all the part that's already selected. So if I press delete, that all goes away. And so we'll go withdrawal amount equals balance. Set the balance to what the balance is right now minus amount. All right, and so that's a function that we run it. We'll take some off of the balance. Balance right now is 0. So we could change balance. Let's say we start this guy off and we set it and we say he's got 500 bucks. All right, so do it. Bam. Now he's got 500 bucks. And then we come along and we say, hey, let's withdraw $499. Sure, he can afford it. Let's do it. Oh, he's down to $1. Okay, so we've got this nice working bank account. What we want though is we want to have an object that we can copy a bunch and have some of the slots be just for the object, like balance. Every bank account object would have its own balance, but then the method deposit and withdrawal, we want it to be the same for all the bank accounts that get created. And the interest rate, let's pretend interest rate is like, if one person has that interest rate, everybody has it. Okay, just for this. We want to create a new slot that points to a group of slots that are shared slots. And when we have shared slots, we call them traits. So what I'm going to do right now is there's a place to store groups of slots like that called traits. And as you remember, here's the lobby. Lobby, get it? Here's our lobby. And here it is, traits. So we pop that out. And here's traits. We'll pop that down, and we're going to do it in applications. Applications, add a slot, bank account equals empty object. Only we want to call this slots object something good. We always call these groups of shared slots, we call them traits space something. So like traits, here's traits old parser, traits debugger. So we're going to go down to show annotation, and here it says bad path. I have no idea why it says bad path. We write traits bank account, and that looks good, and we accept it. And now it says traits bank account. So now we have these traits, and over here, so the 3 things that we want to take this deposit function and we click and we go move, pop it in there. We want to do the withdrawal, boom, and then the interest rate, move, and we put that in there. So there's all these things, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our original slots object, which now only has balance. We add a slot, and this time we're going to call it parent, and we're going to put an asterisk at the end. Now the asterisk, and we'll do that same deal where we go nil, just to make this work. Nil, pop out the nil. Ooh, it went all the way over to that nil. And put it on here. Okay, so the parent is now traits bank account. And so anything with an asterisk at the end is saying, hey, this is a pointer to another group of slots. And we call them trait slots, like I said. And what it also means is that if I were to come in here and type withdrawal $499 and I say do it, it'll say, all right, let me look and see if there's a slot called withdrawal. And they're like, no, there's no slot called withdrawal. So let me start looking then in any slots with asterisks and see if there's one in there. And sure enough, there is, and so it does it. So let's say do it, and look now, poor sucker's got minus $498. If we wanted to have a special withdrawal just for this one bank account, we could add another slot and call it withdrawal and amount, and maybe, it's special. It only takes out half the amount you put. And so it'll say, hey, is there a withdrawal slot? And it'll be like, yes. And so it'll never get to looking in the asterisk ones, all right? So the reason that we call this parent, it isn't like a magic word, like a keyword. It just means, hey, this is the slot where most of our traits are going to come from, like the main one. Because we could have 3 or 4 slots with asterisks on it, all different groups of traits working together. And we could call them anything, but we call this one parent. That way we know that's where the main ones are coming from. We're not quite ready to make a clone or a copy, because this object by itself doesn't have a slot that enables it to copy itself. So if we send a message to it, copy, it won't know what to do. Let's go up into the traits account, because they're all going to have this feature. We're going to add another slot. We're going to call it parent equals traits clonable. That happens to be a whole chunk of slots that allow something to be copied or cloned. So we're like that, parents traits clonable, and let's see how we got it. We press it, pop it out. There's old traits clonable, and it has a crap ton. Look, it's got 4 like parent kind of slots in it, so it's got a lot more in it. So there's a whole bunch that goes into making it clonable. But we just added that feature by giving a parent's pointer slot to traits clonable. So now we actually could come in here and type in copy. So now we have 2 bank accounts, so we'll get rid of those guys. The last thing that we want to do here is we want to store a wonderful bank account object in a place where we know where to find it and where it's accessible from all the other objects. So here we are back in the lobby. The traits are here, and then kind of parallel to that is these globals. And we pop that out, and here's the globals. And you make that go down. And now, just like over here, there's these kind of the same modules. And we open up applications, and let's add a slot. And we're going to call it bank account. And this is like our bank account. It's where the prototype's going to live. So whenever we copy a bank account, this is where it'll be. Bank account equals nil, just because that's the way we're doing it right now. There's other ways to do it. And then you pop that off, connect it over to here. It took it. So now bank account, and it's still called a slots object. So we go over here like we did before, and we annotate it. And we're going to call it bank account, accept it. And so now we have it. So now here's the thing. If you were to type bank account, get it, and start messing with that one, adding a balance and whatever, you'd be screwing up, because this is the prototype. This is like the master copy. If you drew on your master copy that you kept in your desk and then went and photocopied it, you'd have those same doodles all over it. You don't want that. So you always got to remember, go bank account, copy, get it. So now it's a bank account. So now we can mess with this and it doesn't mess with the real one. And we can just get it. Just for fun, let's open this one. Let's deposit $5 and do it. Now this is 5, but these bank accounts, it's not affected. But then let's change the interest rate and let's set it to, it was 0.05. Let's set it to 0.1. So now if we were to go over here and get the interest rate and get it, so this has the colon, that means set it, and this doesn't have the colon, that means get it. So get it, and there it is, it's 0.1. And that one will be 0.1 and this one will be 0.1. All right, so we made a wonderful bank account. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to save it. So you right click and you come down and save snapshot as what still was the Morphic snap, and we'll call it bank snap. And then come down here, accept, and it's saved. Thank you very much, and goodbye.